Hello everyone! Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. This is Rhea Luz of Buhay Buhay sa Amerika, and today I have a very special guest. Nako, I'm so glad my friends in YouTube are already ready for this amazing guest, and I am actually doing this live broadcast from YouTube and also to Buhay Buhay sa Amerika Facebook page. And so this guest that I have is all the way from New York. Kaya medyo mahaba ang kanyang ita-travel. Mega shout out to all my friends in YouTube. Andyan si Boss Nisa, C all the way from Australia, and Shy Mango all the way from the Middle East. Ang aking kaibigang si Shell Vlog TV of Team Animals at Team Hope andyan din. At si Shell Vlog, sinabi ko na, Shell Vlog TV. Sabi niya, hi sis Nisa. Andyan na rin si Belle's Vlog all the way from Taiwan. At ang aking mga kaibigan all the way from Facebook, Ate Bing Arbatin. Good morning from Philippines. Ay, Ate Bing, andyan ka pa pala sa Philippines. Na-miss kita kanina when I was cooking ginisang munggo. Right after I visited my friend Shy Mango, I tried to cook ginisang munggo, which I just freshly picked malunggay from my front yard. Hello, Sweet Escape, my very good sister, all the way from Canada. Handyan din ang D. Alejandros, all the way from Canada. At saka, wow, sabi ni Sweet Escape Channel, wow, you look really nice po. Very pretty. Sana all. Uy, thank you so much. Of course, pagka nag-live tayo at especially very special ang aking guest tonight, I feel I have to dress up. Yun yung aking live streaming. Hello, Ate Bing. Oh, kanina you were still asleep. Sabi ni D. Alejandros all the way from Canada. Shy Mango, yuhu! Nako, andyan na rin. Si Shell Vlog saying hello to D. Alejandros all the way from Canada. Kaya mga kababayan, ang aking pong guest ay iniintay ko. She is an online digital media, as well as she's the publisher and executive director of Awesome Magazine. Dati akala ko OSM, yung pala yung awesome, you have to read it as awesome. So her magazine is called, the magazine is named as Awesome Online Magazine for Awesome Global Citizens, just like all of you. You are so awesome for being here. Kaso hindi pa siya nakakapasok sa aking StreamYard. She's a very wonderful Filipina that everyone will be so proud to know. And Shell Vlog, sabi niya, hello the Alejandros, eat muna tayo, Shell and everyone. Sabi ni Alejandros, yeah, pwede kayong bumalik mga kababayan at mga kaibigan ko in YouTube. I know that you've been working so hard, and YouTube is not an easy thing to do, but the best thing about it is we are actually creating a wonderful relationship with one another. I feel as Buhay Buhay sa Amerika is all about how we can promote our Filipino everywhere in the world. And so that is what I'm trying to do here as Buhay Buhay sa Amerika in America. But Buhay Buhay sa Amerika is not only, or Buhay Buhay Pinoy. Our love for one another does not end in America. And then through YouTube, we are actually becoming really close together, and I feel there is so much collaboration and so much support among Filipinos as YouTubers in YouTube. And I wish that we can really bring that same way. We want everyone to rise up. Everyone will go up. Just like in YouTube, we try to reach 1K. 1,000 subscriber is the beginning of being a YouTuber. And after that, you have to reach 4,000 watch hours for YouTube to be able to recognize your channel and for your channel to be monetized. So after, it's like a game of catch up all the time. But the best thing about why we are while we are trying to do that catch up of 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 watch hours, there is collaboration and there is love that is going on among the Filipino YouTubers and other YouTubers as well who try to embrace our channel. Isn't it? Give me a thumbs up if you believe in what I'm saying. Yes, sabi ni Sweet Escape, I miss you sis, been a while po. And sabi ni sis Sweet Escape, thanks all 8 sweet friends at patamsak naman please and pa-share po and thank you so much. Yang si Sweet Escape ang lagi I'm talking about Sweet Escape in YouTube, who is always there trying to support my live streaming and also sharing. So Sweet Escape, I mega shout out to you. And nandyan na rin si Forever Grateful who helped me to go stand. Aba, at si Artra, mga aking kaibigan, si Ate Bing Arbatin, andito pa rin. Mabuti na lang si si Ate Bing Arbatin, binigyan ako ng one thumbs up. Mga kaibigan ko niyan sa Facebook. Si Marivir Reyes, sabi niya, hello and pa-shout out po. Marivir Reyes, thank you so much for joining me. At ang mga kaibigan ko na nasa sa YouTube at nasa sa Facebook ay nagpupunyagi na talagang maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. At sandyan si Shai Mengo, si Cory Bisdak, Share Dan Host. Oh, thank you so much. Andyan na rin si Artrag. At sabi ni Shai Mengo, Artrag, Yahoo. At ang aking guest ay iniintay ko. Medyo malayo po ang malayo ang Arizona to New York. It will take us 6 hours. So medyo natatagalan pa ng konti yung aking guest. So ano muna tayo, kukwentuhan muna tayo habang wala pa yung guest ko. Iniintay ko siya sa aking studio and sabi ni Artrag, Sweet Escape, miss you parts, na busy lang po. Magkaibigan si sabi ko na sa inyo this is sabi ni Marivir Reyes, sana po pasyalan nyo yung coffee shop ko dito sa Arizona. Marivir Reyes, please send us your address. Can you please write your address right now and send me. Naku, I really wish to see your coffee shop, and especially we just finished promoting Lutong Bahay and Scooptopia. And of course, Buhay Buhay is all about trying to promote all our kababayan, maging Facebook, maging YouTube, at maging establishment dito sa Arizona. Sana hindi tayo mauubusan ng pupuntahan. Kaya mga kaibigan ko sa YouTube, marami pa kayong makikitang mga establishment dito sa Arizona na matutuwa kayo at higit sa lahat ay mai-inspire kayo dahil ang ating mga kababayan ay lumalaki at umuunlad lalo kung tayong lahat ay nagsasama-sama at nagbibigayan, nagpapaangat. Parang YouTube. Sa YouTube, lahat ng tao pinapaangat. Di ba? Ayan na ang aking kaibigan na si Marivir Montebon is finally in the house. Kaya, nako, handito na ang ating Miss Marivir Barlaan. Pero bago ang lahat, I have to introduce to all of you my beautiful sister, Marivir Montebon. Before I bring her out, I want to read to you a little piece of her short introduction. Short lang to, pero very, very impressive. Miss Marivir R. Montebon is a New York-based journalist who runs her own online business, Awesome Online Magazine, and her later on I will send a link, which has been established since 2012 together with her late daughter, Liani Auxilio, who was then her digital editor. Montebon specializes in reporting on immigration, women's issues, art and culture, and human rights and politics in the Filipino-American communities in the East Coast of the United States. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in religious studies and graduated with honors just this May 2020 for her master's of arts course at the Unification Theological Seminary in Manhattan, where she graduated and admitted at the Theta Alpha Kappa Honor Society and also received the Soul Award for Public Leadership Service bestowed by UTS for her involvement in vital community issues and events outside the school. She is currently the Media Fellow for Montclair State University's COVID-19 Media Reporting for the state of New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Marivir! How are you, Miss Marivir Montebon? Kumusta na, sis?
Hello, hi. Thanks for having me, Ray. And you know what? I was here the whole time. Hindi ko lang prines na enter. I'm so used to Zoom that the admin will let me come in. Ako pala ang papasok.
Yes. Well, thank
Sorry
you.
about that. We were waiting for each other.
Yeah.
And I was watching you on YouTube.
Oh, thank you. And I just found out that you two have a YouTube channel, the Awesome Communications.
Awesome online Awesome in 5 minutes. That's our segment.
Yes, but
Because we diverted to YouTube presentations it was only 1 year, 2017 or 16.
Yes, and actually, I was looking up on YouTube about your something that I can share, and I actually found a very impressive
you found something.
Yes, imagine our Miss Marivir Montebon was able to get an amazing interview with Miss Loida Nicholas Lewis. And for all of you mga kababayang, mga Pilipino nating kababayan dyan, that is amazing. She is one of the women everyone should know. And Marivir, for you to get that interview, please let us share with us later that story.
But okay, yeah, I'll be excited to share with you how that happened.
Yes,
and how we made the Awesome in 5 minutes.
Yes, you are awesome even in any minute. Well, thank you so much mga kababayan that I finally have our Miss Marivir Montebon here at Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. This is an honor for me to have you on this.
I'm honored as well. Thank you.
And all of my friends in Facebook and in YouTube are actually excited to know more about you. So as Buhay Buhay sa Amerika is always try to understand the stories of our kababayan here in America. So when I talked to you one time about especially the issues that came out on racial issues last month, me and Marivir spoke for more than an hour. So this is
madaldal.
We have so much things in common. So please tell us, Marivir, how did you came to America and when did you start?
Okay. So I'm old already, so I'll have a long story. Anyway, so I came
We
to
have
the
the whole time.
U.S. as an immigrant in 2007, and this was October. And I just came here to visit my mom and my grandma, who were my grandma passed away, and my mom's in California, and my brothers. So I go to them and visit. And this at that time in 2007, prior to those years, I visit and take 2 months and then come back to the Philippines where I live and I enjoy being a journalist. So, but in 2007, I had a very difficult situation. It was in June of that year. My husband was murdered. He was killed, and I came here just to have a little rest, a little relaxation, because it became very difficult. Um, but inside my heart, it was like I don't feel safe in the Philippines at that time because my husband was murdered. It was a political election-related violence. He
Wow.
ran for public office and he lost, and he asked for a recount of his ballots, and so local politics became very,
Dirty.
very tough and bloody, and that eventually that killed him. But the his assailant has not been found until now, so he's still somewhere, we don't know where. So when it comes to murder, you cannot prosper a case if there are no witnesses. There were three witnesses, but they're all gone now, and we could not um, ascertain where they are. So I came to the US and to relax and have a little breather. But then a friend of mine, make it long story short, a friend of mine, a lawyer who just finished her bar, told me that, you know what, you can apply for an asylum. And so this was because I told her, like, I have a gut feel that I'm not safe in the Philippines. This was at the time of President Gloria Arroyo.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, the Philippines ranked second to Iraq in terms of the number of journalists that are killed. And to
Wow.
think we did not have any high war, right? Iraq at that time was so beleaguered by war. So it's weird that the Philippines ranked number two. But that ushered in for my approval of my political asylum. So I had my asylum approved um, in this of 2009. I
Mm-hmm.
mean 208, because I was on tourist visa, and so you're only here for 6 months for as a tourist. And so I applied, and I was interviewed in the early months of I think that was February of 2008. And so February, March, April, I was approved for political asylum. So that automatically had allowed my daughter to join me. So
Uh-huh.
she was graduating in high school, and so I let her just finish high school, and I was preparing for her papers to come and join me. So she came over at the age 16, um, after graduation in high school. So I was happy already, like she's my only child, and I felt complete at that time that she's around. And so you raise a daughter all by yourself, single-handedly. I decided to live in New York because I did. California did not appeal to me so much as compared to New York, because I can move around. There's train 24/7, and so I liked it better here.
Yes.
So, so that's how, like, I raised Nikki, and she went through college, and we had a fight because she did not like to be in the U.S. She loved the Philippines. She loved Cebu. She was being taken care of there. She had a yaya until the time that
Yes.
she came to me. So sanay sa magkaroon ng yaya, and my dad and my sister took care of her. So she's all right there in the Philippines. But I want us to be together.
Together. Yes.
And so it was a hard struggle here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And so I I was doing immigration writing for an immigration office for 6 years. So that's how I learned so much about immigration and human trafficking. So that
Wow.
was my learning experience as well. And so I was also handling at the time the communications department of uh, of the nonprofit organization that I was
Mhm.
working with. It's a nonprofit and at the same time a law office. So when my daughter graduated um, media technology, so I said, oh, she can very well do all this stuff. Like at the time, Facebook was there, and there was the social media was beginning to pop up. So I said we
Mhm.
can do our own digital magazine, and so we created Awesome. This was 2012,
You
and
are so brave.
so I was thinking like it's so tiresome to hear news all the time that's bad and
Mhm.
sad, and I thought there has to be a platform for what Filipinos are doing. So um, we thought of branding yourself. So I branded on positive journalism, and so that's why we called ourselves Awesome. So this was months and months of enjoyable discussion with my daughter and some friends who thought that it was a good idea. So Awesome was born, and so the logo that you will see where there's
Yeah.
a little
In
girl
fact,
with a green
right
hat,
there. Yes.
that one, yes, that's Nikki, and that is being an illustration, a drawing by her high school classmate because the barkada of my daughter um, had this nice what's called this activity that her friend does the drawing and she does the writing of the story and they make them into comics, and everybody in her classroom or the entire school her batch would read. So I saw that little icon there with a green hat, and but the mouth was like down, so it's like grumpy,
Uh-huh.
so something like that. So I said,
That's not
can you
awesome.
ask her to make it like a V so that you're smiling? And so there you go. It's much cuter. And so there you go. Awesome has the logo, and we were good to go. So, oh, in fact, before I forget, our maiden issue was Merly Barlaan. She was my first featured leader
Yes.
who at that time was already deliberating to leave the US and go back to the Philippines and do some development groundwork. Because as she had mentioned in our show,
Yes.
she was not quite
Women's work.
satisfied with how the United Nations was just talking about
Mhm.
social development and sustainable development, but it's not actually felt on the ground. So Merly actually was my first featured leader. So that was how it went, Ray, and thank God we gained traction. We had a lot of readers. I mean, I couldn't believe like we immediately our readers like the first few content that we placed, we reached like 25,000 reads. So wow, I said, oh, this is so amazing. So it each time you put new content, there will be new readers because anyway, technology will only count the new readers
Yes.
that came to your website. They won't count the old ones. So it's very inspiring. So I just went on, and by my character or attitude, I really when I love doing things, I just really go on and on. So that's how we established a presence for Awesome Online Magazine.
And in fact, Marley Christina Barlaan
Mm-hmm.
is joining us on her YouTube channel. Uh,
Okay. Hi,
you
Twin. I'm here.
And to all my friends in YouTube, please hug and love my beautiful sister Merly Cristina Barlete Barlaan. Napakahaba ng kanyang ginawa. Ito pangalan sa YouTube.
Merly Christina. Yes,
Yes,
that sounds so sweet and
yes,
powerful. That
yes.
name.
And
Uh-huh.
it definitely is. Just like
Uh-huh.
you and her are twins, and you
Oh
are
yeah.
truly powerful women leaders. We are so
She is a
awesome.
very good friend.
Yes, and we're very, very honored to have both of you here
Mm-hmm.
on Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. And
Yes.
I know how much difficult it must be for you because you and your daughter, Nikki, are so close to each other. And I know that you just lost her recently, right?
Yeah, I am grieving until now, Ray, and I don't think I will ever stop grieving because it hurts that she's gone and we're such buddies. You're right. Like,
Mhm.
at the time when she was here at age 16, it was tough because, you have a teenager who's like, was her own mind and who thinks she is already independent, and she would question you and question your decision why she's in the US. So we had a rough time, and also sending someone to college single-handedly had
Yeah.
been very challenging for me. So it was hard, but we pulled through, and eventually she became self-sufficient. She was earning of her money, and she was helping me in the expenses at home. So I felt very happy that it paid off like very fast. But
Yes.
in 2013, my daughter was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and I was at the time still working with the immigration office, and I would travel from New York to Washington D.C. every week. And so one day, she called me and told me that the doctor told her to go to the clinic immediately. And so when a doctor tells you to go to the clinic immediately, that is a red
Yes.
flag. That's a that's not good news. So I was so scared. First time that you get scared that your butterflies in your stomach are flying like crazy.
Yes.
So there, and we were told that she had cancer, but not to
Wow.
worry because it's the cancer that will not spread. So she
Mm-hmm.
had a successful surgery. This was 2013, and 3 successive years after, she had one-time radiation radiation therapy that would prohibit her from eating, food with salt, food with oil, and all that. So that was the ordeal that she had gone through. But thankfully, she was declared cancer-free after 2 years, after 1 year. I mean, after her surgery. So we hurdled that, but she got sick in 2017. She was very anemic, and at that time was already working, and I was thinking that she was just so stressed out with work
Mm-hmm.
because it was a stressful kind of work. She was complaining of being bullied. There were older co-workers who were mean or tough with her. So I pitied her and I said, you just stop working and look for another job. You don't want to stress yourself out. And so I thought it was just that. It was just an external thing for a young person who just got into work.
Yes.
But then it was more than that. She was sick. She was so very anemic, and she had to go to an ER and have her blood transfusion. That was the signal of the problem with which we later realized, which was actually a colon cancer.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's
she had
true.
stage 4 colon cancer, but it was a very slow developing, or we were late in knowing. So anyway, she had her blood transfusion, and then the doctor said you have to have colonoscopy. Where the bleed is coming from? So it must be from the gut. So again, she went through. Imagine she had first colonoscopy instead of me. And it was very like, you're 50, you should have colonoscopy, but my daughter was the first one to have it, not me. So it was something that I was not really expecting. Nobody knew. Not It was not in my family too that we had this kind of disease. So it's
Mhm.
very unexpected. And so she had a condition that is genetically induced, which I think was coming from her father's side.
Oh,
And this condition is called familial adenomatous polyposis, which is a very weird sounding disease that your intestine has so many polyps and they are precancerous. So the
yeah.
doctor advised us to have the intestines removed. So the day came, so our Awesome in 5 Minutes had to be stopped because it was running for a year in 2016. I had to stop it because I was going back and forth to the doctor already for her at the time. And I was also studying, trying to finish my MA. So the show had to stop.
So,
And make a long story short, she had her surgery. The doctor found out that there was a tumor hiding, which was not found in the colonoscopy. And it was malignant and it was stage 4. So we had a fight, an uphill battle for that was courageous for her part, courageous for my part. A lot of faith had to be poured in, and a lot of love had been shown by my family and the community here in New York in trying to help us, give psychological support because it's tough. It's just me and her all the time.
mhm.
So we had a good fight for a year, and she succumbed on November 17, 2019. This
Mhm.
was just very. My mind has remembered this so much. It's still so fresh in my mind. My heart
Yeah.
is bleeding, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's what can I do? Like it's a humbling experience for me. Very painful. Suddenly, you just feel stabbed. That I realize that she's gone,
Mhm.
and but then it's a teaching of faith for me, like, when we pray, our Father, your will be done. That is really the most humbling and most accepting thing I had to do in this life. So my thought and prayers are always with her. She passed away in my arms, and I told her to just go ahead and not close your eyes because like she was having a hard time breathing. And I said, "Remember me, show up in my dreams and protect me and give me guidance because I know you will be an angel. Go back to God. I'll be fine. I'll try to be fine." So that was what happened. And my mom was there, my aunties were there. They were singing for her, singing church songs, and so she was being conveyed with love. And I'm sure the last mu- the last murmurs that she heard would be the songs
Mhm.
of faith and my embrace. So that's what happened in 2019. So right now life goes on, but so much of my memories for her.
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I wish I have I should have my tissue here. It's very painful that um you shared to us this very difficult story. I'm sure losing a husband is very difficult, but losing a child, I heard from my mom, is even more painful
It
than
is the worst pain you can ever feel.
yeah.
So that's that. Oh, it's almost her birthday. She will be 28 supposedly on July 27, and I have made preparations for two celebration of masses for her
Well,
because
we'll
that's the most important um, gift that I can in remembrance of her as she journeys on towards God's light.
And thank you so much for sharing
Mm-hmm.
this very painful memory, very painful part of your life. But
Mm-hmm.
in despite all of that, you still keep on fight, fighting and working to really bring about the positive and awesomeness of life and the world through your media and through your talent. You
My
are,
work, my work really keeps my sanity. If
thank
not for this work, I will not have so much meaning in life, because this is my way to my expression of contributing to the betterment of our world. It no matter how small and how humble this could be, just writing, but that's my way to help make the world better.
it is not, I think what you just shared and what you do is not just a humble offering. You are offering the best of
Mhm.
the best. Especially, I feel, I know that you and your daughter, even though in the beginning she must have not want to be here in America, but being
Yeah,
a mother, a single mom, and raising your child by yourself, the bond, and she worked with you to create this awesome
yeah.
match.
Well, the
So
truth is, when your daughter works with you, she becomes the boss. Like you're like, oh God, you have to like do it. Like very very bossy and demanding and all that. But she still does it. But like, okay, how much am I gonna be paid, mom? Something like that. Like, you buy me this food. I said, you know what? Your food is more expensive than your sueldo. It's like, this is really a losing proposition for me, because you're so expensive, high maintenance when it comes to demanding food. So that's our funny stuff that we talk about, we exchange. So
at
that,
least now you think of that and it gives you good memory that at
oh
least
yeah.
you provide her the best food she wanted.
Yeah, I don't cook, so I just buy. I don't cook so well,
If
so
you my
that's
neighbor,
our
we,
situation.
we could have past plates in our fences. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that very painful memory. And I'm sure I was just about to ask you what is the challenge that you have encountered, and you already have provided that story. And I'm sure that is one of the most challenging part. But other
Yes.
than this very painful memory and painful experience as a media, uh, the last time I was watching you, by the way, I did not mention that
Mhm.
you are now the co-host, co-anchor of the newly established
Yes.
talk show called Women's World.
Yeah,
And
that's us.
together with our sister Merly, Christina Barretti Barlan, and
Mhm.
Araceli, you are
This
doing
is,
an awesome job
thank
with
you.
that talk show. I love
That's
it.
our latest, thank you. That's our latest baby, that
Yeah,
women's world. One time Merly and I were chatting, and so
yeah.
like, what are we gonna do? Like, it's lockdown, like, what are we? I'm watching Netflix. I sang already with journalists and all that. So many things. So some friends are doing TikTok, you know, just to entertain yourself. So I said, Merly says, "Oh, let's do a show twin." Said, "Okay, let's do a show." And
Great.
so that's go ahead, because like there's Zoom, right? We have said we have to learn how to manage the Zoom and all that, and so we practiced. So we had like maybe a month of preparation. So we rehearsed, and she introduced Arceli to me,
Yes,
and so Arceli. So we became like New York, New Jersey, and Tagbilaran.
yes.
So and yeah, so it's amazing that what technology can do, bring you together if you decide it. So we decided on the name Women's World, and it's about providing innovation and inspiration supposedly looking forward on what's the new normal,
Yes.
considering the pandemic that we are all in right now. So that's our latest baby. And
You
so
are,
it's fun. It's fun. Thanks for guesting.
yeah, I
That
was
was so
one of
good.
the best last time. And
Yes, yes.
thank you for letting me share my love story. I'm actually,
Yeah. Oh, we were discussing about love knows no racial divide, right? So it's like you and have being married to somebody who's not a Filipino. So that's another. We can talk of so many, many good things that will provide inspiration. So I love my job. It's very upbeat, and it helps me become strong, so and enjoy and be excited despite my own problems in life. So go lang ng go,
yeah,
something
go
like
lang lang
that.
go. Plus, sabi niya,
Yes.
ano, dead, when you see dead, they don't have a heartbeat. That's why it's flat. But
Hmm.
when you're alive, there is
Up and
heartbeat,
down.
up and down. So
Right.
the same way, we will never run out of problems. And
Yes, it's a matter of attitude actually, Ray, di ba?
yes, just go lang
Yes.
and go. Kagaya ni Sweet Channel. Uh,
Correct.
Sweet, I hope you won't go.
Ah,
But
amazing.
we are actually, before you came in, I was telling them that we are doing a simultaneous um, live broadcast on my Facebook Buhay Buhay sa Amerika page, and
Hmm.
my YouTube channel Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. So we
Hmm.
have many of our good friends that are in YouTube and in Facebook right now, who are actually both watching us. And as I
That's
mentioned,
great.
ang your co-host,
Hmm.
Miss Merly Cristina Barretti Barlaan, is watching all the way from YouTube. Thank you so much, Merly, for helping watch us on YouTube. Because as a YouTuber, we are actually very happy to have many people watch us through YouTube, because
This is
yes, this is a learning curve for those who are not active in YouTube. As you and Merly decided to create what is Women's World during this
mhm.
pandemic. I
We're
never,
just 1 month old.
yes, and I never activated my YouTube channel. I only just do it like only when I have some time. And then also through this pandemic, I activated my YouTube channel. And so now I'm working on my watch hours for
That's good.
4,000 watch hours is what Boy Boys America needs. So
Ah, I see.
I, I appreciate all our friends who are watching us in YouTube, as
It's
well
good
as
that, you know what, right now the technology provides media practitioners to support each other and share. In the
yes,
past several years, competition was very
yes,
stiff
yes,
between media
yes,
organizations. So if you
yes,
have a print, they're in competition with another print, or if a radio station also is in competition with another radio station. But the key with the digital technology is, if you share, if you keep sharing,
yes,
your viewers will go up.
yes.
So that's one thing I'd like to recognize or acknowledge, that what this nature of digital technology has given us media practitioners,
And
and
not
so it's inspiring. Yes.
and not only that, as they share, they comment, the more your ratings go up.
Yeah.
And in YouTube, that is what I am more seeing now more often, is the amazing talent and collaboration and support of the Filipino YouTubers in YouTube. We have seen so many new YouTubers coming
Mhm.
to, especially Filipino YouTubers. So, and as you are amazing and awesome
My
media
God.
giant here, that we can learn from you. And through this we can share more to our young YouTubers the talent of being positive and awesome is what can keep you higher and higher. As I was mentioning earlier, you got the chance to interview this Miss Loida Nicholas Lowe.
Nicholas. Oh,
This
let me tell you about that because you wanted me to.
while
So,
while
in fact, I
while
forgot
you're
about
telling
it.
I wanted to share with them that
Uh-huh.
video because I actually saw that. So um, let's see if we can share that video. Although
Hmm.
there will be no. Oops, I
It
have
is
to.
in our messenger.
Yes, I am showing it back on. I need to remove this and show the link. Where is the
Mhm.
link of that awesome? I am not a technology person. No, that I think I lost it. Well, I wanted to share to
Do you
them.
want to go back to our messenger? It's right there.
Uh,
You
yes,
were the
but
one who sent it to me.
unfortunately, I'm not good in setting it up. I wish I have tech wise in I don't have, and I accidentally clicked that video. But for
Okay,
our
so let me just share with you how that happened.
yes,
Okay, so Awesome in 5 Minutes is a segment of Awesome Communications. We have the digital platform where we write the news and essays. And in 2016, I thought of creating a short 5 minuter when we interview people. So one of them was Loida Lewis, who at that time was honoring the death anniversary of her husband, and in time for the Black Heritage Month
mm-hmm.
celebration. So she was um, she was actually talking about how her husband rose from being a lawyer and then to become the first billionaire to black billionaire to do
Yes,
a my gosh, I forgot the name of a certain
yes,
deal, a business deal.
yes,
Yeah, so
yes.
her husband had been very very successful, and behind that camera work, she was telling me how the courtship went and all that. So it was a vibrant time with her in her house, just her and me. So I was, in fact, just let me show you. Oh, I'm using my phone. So this phone, I was just like doing like that, and it has a pop socket, and I was just telling her to do that,
Uh-huh.
and we were just having that conversation, and I just needed good light. Said, Mom Lloyd, just give me a good light, and
Yes,
answer one question for 1 minute, and then I'll cut so that when you edit, the, I can edit very well. I don't want to edit starting with a very huge file of 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So I will
yes.
edit per question so that when I consolidate everything, it will be faster. And so she's a quick learner. She answered very quickly, only 1 minute per question. And Loida is, in fact, a so far for now, the one of the richest. She's the richest Manhattanite Filipino, the most successful an immigration lawyer and a businesswoman who turned around the business of her husband when it was about to be bankrupt. So you want to
Yeah.
run that? Okay, let's listen
Yes.
to it. This is
No,
one of
I cannot have the video because I will get a CPR from YouTube. But you can
oh,
continue talking, so
okay.
I'll
Okay, so
share
this
to
is
them.
the opening of the 5 minute show, and
Yes.
all this is a combination of pictures and videos, and
Yes.
the editor put it together. My editor, Ray, is from Cebu, and somebody whom I have really worked already for a long time, way back in
Uh-huh.
Cebu, where I was a journalist. So we know each other's styles already. So I would give him the script. These are the minutes that you have to put in, minutes and
Yes.
seconds. And there's Loida. And he would just do it. So he can do magic. So this is beyond 5 minutes. Talking to Loida had been very interesting. So this was 9 minutes. It's not so clear, no?
Because my setting is a low quality, let me
It's
go to
okay.
the good
And
quality.
so there she is. And so I was in front of her and doing like that. Said, okay, Mom Lloyd, answer my question. And so we were chatting. So also, like, it's important when you're interviewing, remember that you have to tell your resource person, your interviewee, to relax. We're just having a conversation, so that it's
Is
going
it?
to break it's going to break the kind or level of intimidation or
Uh-huh.
anxiety that the person is feeling. So,
Yes.
and it bridges your connectivity. So 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 there you go. She prepared herself well. She dressed up. She, put on makeup, and we talked about her husband. It's a very sentimental topic for her. So she loved this. She loved this particular undertaking. And so Loida
She
was telling us how, as a woman, she turned around the business of her husband because it was beginning to be bankrupt, and for a year she was so in grief and did not do anything for business. So the siblings of her husband were the ones running the company, which went quite messy. So there, she was telling that how she did it,
and the
and her yes, Ree.
one of the things that it struck me is not all Filipinos knew who she is. I mean, I only learned
Yes.
about her through you as through your when I was searching about this awesome. If I was looking for YouTube for any awesome video, and
Mm-hmm.
then I am so lucky to really find this
Mm-hmm.
wonderful Filipina that I would say everyone should be so proud of her,
Mm-hmm.
because as we are so I am so proud to meet
Mm-hmm.
the wife of Martin Luther King, Dr. Coretta Scott King. I
Mm-hmm.
would never forget how amazing this woman is, because
Mm-hmm.
truly it is the wife who actually allowed Dr. King to become great.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss
It's the
Lloyd,
woman,
yeah, Miss Lloyda Nicholas Lewis. We should always mention her last name Nicholas because she's Filipino,
her
and
family name.
yeah, and her journey to to becoming a billionaire's wife,
Mm-hmm.
and her humility is all about promoting her husband, not herself.
Right,
So,
right.
so this is
This was this
not yeah, this is about media, what we wanted to share in this uh, aspect of your work, and
I
you did
remember I
yes.
remember Ree that she mentioned about her struggle too with, the relationship with the husband, because her husband would come home and become so grumpy and be shouting and so irritable and all that. So she mentioned that, right? And she told her mother-in-law that I can't take this anymore. It's too much. And then her mother-in-law would side with her, and then just let it out, just go to the bathroom and throw up whatever you want to do, and so to be able to cope. And then she vacillates to explaining that her husband is very pressured in the corporate life, and that's why he gets home so irritable and all that. So she was there as a she was holding on. She was a tough woman who held on for her husband. And so they had their own problems, but they survived it. And sadly, he had to pass away, and she had to do the responsibility of taking care of the business, and which she successfully did. It's just so sad that we have somebody, a Filipino woman, who has her story of inspiration, and currently being bullied because of some political differences with the president. So it is what it is, but she has done something really incredibly good and inspirational in
I think
among us here in the Filipino community in the US. and elsewhere,
Yes. And
also in the
I
African American community.
yeah, and that is something we as Filipinos should really be so proud and emulate that kind of standard. When I was watching you interviewing her, she's so proper, prim and proper. I'm like, did she go for an etiquette kind of school? You know, it's like I need some kind of etiquette training.
She is very, she's she's decent, very decent person. So
Yes,
she could joke and she could talk about serious stuff. So I was so honored to have that with Loida.
yes, I
She
think
she granted me that interview. She granted interview with big the giant corporations like MSNBC,
yeah,
the mainstream, let's say corporate, I would say corporate media. So she would give it the same treatment also for us local Filipino journalists. So that was good. That's one of the
yes,
perks.
and we are
Yeah.
so glad that we get the chance to, for me,
Mm-hmm.
because of your journalistic talent and past passion,
Mm-hmm.
you were able to get her to be interviewed, as well as for us as Filipinos to understand that powerful woman is a Filipina. That
Mm-hmm.
makes so much joy for
I'm
us
glad you
to.
are proud of her.
Oh, I am. In fact, I actually watched three more videos after watching yours, and I think that is the power of media, the power
Mhm.
of influencing people through what you shared. It's
Mhm.
because of you I learned about her, and I search more,
Mhm.
and so I give you a
Oh.
commendation for what. Di ba nanalo ka ng investigative reporting,
Oh.
or
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you
That's
awarded?
with that's a shared reward award from working on an investigative series on the transparency and accountability issue of the largest Philippine Independence Day parade outside the Philippines. And so it was um, a trying to dig out where the funds were and how much were supposedly earned, and then how come it's not that transparent, not well reported to the public. That in fact, because of the non-transparency, no reporting to the IRS, unfortunately, the organization, the Philippine Independence Day Council, had lost its status for 501c3. So
Wow.
that's a big story. And my colleague and I, Christina GC Pastor, decided to do an investigative story about it. And, Filipinos um, reached the Supreme Court to file a case against each other on
Oh,
providing um, reports on where the funds went and all plus other organizational problems. They reached the Supreme Court. And what do you do as a media? You cover it. So we wrote about it and we ran a 4-part series. It actually practically tore the community apart. Or it's, the community has its own cracks or divisions. But that was really also a major, like, stripping apart of the Philam community in New York. But
wow.
the truth had to come out. You had to do your responsibility as community leaders. The story had to come out. And so we went through that kind of pain, and our award was like just like a tap on our shoulders, a pat on our shoulders, that we did what we were supposed to do. And
Yes.
so it enlightened naman the community
And
that
that,
we as leaders need to be responsible to show public funds where they're being spent.
and I like
So
the last time I listened to your Women's World story, and you shared about the ethnic journalism, which
mhm,
you also mentioned about the media are frontliners of truth. and
Mm-hmm.
the media needs to be guided by truth and protect the journalists of as they give enlightenment by giving facts. That's
Right.
what I read. I got from the last segment
Mm-hmm.
of Women's World, which I
Mm-hmm.
think it is a very, it's a fact
Mm-hmm.
that the truth has to come out. And what you have done through investigative media, as well as for what you shares on your awesome magazine, really shows the character, your character. In fact, you, Miss Marivir Montebon, is also an ambassador for peace.
Oh, yes. Thanks to
20,
Merly.
yes, 2019, 2010, 2009,
2009. I
2009.
became ambassador for peace upon Merly's invitation, and so I like it. You know, ambassador for peace. It's a very nice title. Like, oh, I'm an ambassador for peace. It makes you feel good, and people hearing it, oh, it's a welcoming kind of position, and it compels you to be to
Even,
look at to live peacefully
yes,
within yourself and with among others. So I love that. So going back to your comment on ethnic media, so
yes,
I cannot overemphasize it that we Filipinos are part of the ethnic media. We are the largest ethnic media in the U.S. are the Latinos, and which is natural because they're the most populous minority, followed by Asian Americans. This is in terms of the media. The Asian American newspapers, radio, and all TV are second to Latinos, and then followed by the blacks, and then the Arab Americans, and then finally the minority, the smallest segment would be the Native Indians. So isn't that ironic? Like, indeed, America is a land of immigrants, and you
yes,
look at how it's being reflected. The smallest minority are the ones who are the true Americans, the Native Indians, the Native Americans, and so that is the composition of the media landscape. And that's the one hand, the ethnic media, which is an expression of our being an immigrant community all over the US. And on the other hand, the corporate media, which is owned by big businesses, and you know, this is Fox, this is CNN, New York Times. These are the traditional
media company.
outlets or organizations, yes,
Yes,
media companies that have been there and reporting what's going on in the facets of society, all the branches of government and police, everything, IRS, health, and all that. So interesting for us to be here in the US that there is those expressions of democracy through the
mhm.
media.
And
So
and I think it's very important that we Filipinos should also recognize that this ethnic media, ethnic journalists, just like you and I, and
yes,
we Filipino who are venturing into media, are actually becoming the voice of the grassroots here
correct.
in where we are at,
Mm-hmm,
whether we're in America or where everywhere we are.
mm-hmm.
And I like what you mentioned before. You work with your conscience, and
Oh
that's
yes,
something that every media outlet and every media personnel should embrace. Is you work with your conscience. You cannot write something that does not go along with your conscience. So, uh,
yeah.
yeah, share to them
I
again.
I would reiterate that because like the ethics of media practitioners will
Mhm,
only be two. One would be to be accurate, meaning to stick to facts, be
mhm,
truthful, and the second main thing for our ethics would be to be fair, to have balanced and fair reporting. So these two ethical principles are my guiding light when it comes to doing my work as a professional journalist. So if I did not do that, if somehow I compromised it, I will not feel good about myself. So
Yes.
always, that is your conscience. Have you done your job? Have you done what you're supposed to do and not
Mhm.
compromise on truth? Because
Yes.
you see, it all goes back to you, your integrity when it's questioned. For me, it's like you're good as dead if you do not maintain your integrity, especially in this kind of job. You're a frontliner for truth. I embrace it very much with all my heart, and so I will do my best never to compromise it. Maybe I may have my mistakes, like oops, perhaps I forgot to interview you or include you or put you in the story, but it's like not intentional or not like malicious.
Yes.
So I that is the principle why I suppose uh, I have continued to be the journalist that I am. Like I will continue to. I will not apologize for anyone. I will only make sure that I am writing the accurate stuff so that people will do um, the correct decision based on the stories that they're able to read from my end to their end. So that's my thing, Ree. And I hope I believe I'm going to continue to be like this for as long as I can. So this is my calling, and so I'll just enjoy it and take the challenges on
And
like just
I
like
think
that.
you are actually pioneering the new way of media, because I believe the big ones will
Hmm.
disappear. And as you know, so many new people are going to YouTube and contributing as media itself, even though the content of our YouTubers,
Hmm.
for me, should be something that we can contribute greatly for the world. And that's something that even those uh, we people in the YouTube world
Hmm.
can be a source of inspiration and positive light into the society.
Right.
And to all my YouTuber friends, I'm sure it's not just about having a fun videos, but it is all about how we can contribute greatly for the society and for the
Correct.
world in general.
Right now, because social media is very accessible to everyone, everyone can put out content.
Yes,
The more it is important to be responsible. So
yes,
right now, people can do their shows, can put up their shows and interview, and so it has to be well thought of that it's helpful. It will be helpful for people, and other than an expression, a self-expression, that it contributes to the betterment of your community or your
yes,
society. So that's for me an important thing. It's more on the user himself or herself to make good use of what is provided us right
available.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's we you and Merly are twins. I think we can be best friends because we have the same we
Yeah.
we
Oh, we
we
have a
have the
very
same vibration.
right. Merly and I were friends. We met at the Philippine consulate in Manhattan on Fifth Avenue. There's an event. There was, in fact, a launching of a newspaper or a magazine. So we met there. So, oh, you're from Cebu. And so we became friends, yeah,
Yes,
instantly. And so we met again, and she told me she was working with the UN, and she invited me to her events with the UN, and so that was the beginning of our friendship. And then she invited me more to become an ambassador for peace and all that. So we introduced each other's family, and she met my daughter and all that. So we became really good friends until it came to the point that we were planning on. I was helping her plan out how she's going to go back to the Philippines and develop and promote sustainable development
For
in
development.
her own hometown. And I find that very, very noble and very, very admirable for somebody to just go back there and bring her children. I was like, are you sure? Can you? You're risking it. I mean, there are scary people. There are politicians. They're scary and all that. So, but then I blessed her. I gave her my support, and so now it has come to fruition. And as a journalistry, I'm also frustrated by going to the UN and writing about too much talk in the UN, and you don't see groundwork, you don't see poverty being lowered,
Yeah.
but instead it gets more intensified, poverty. So because there's no correct groundwork, people have no heart actually to do things in on the ground. And so here's my friend Merly wanting to do that, and I said, okay, go ahead. And so we helped each other, we raised funds. And so it's true. And she said, like, oh, I feel bad drinking coffee already, because coffee
Yeah,
from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, which is $1 or $2, $3, it rose to $3. It was already for
they work.
the salary of a farmer
Yeah.
that could have helped him support his family, food for the table. So these are really, really real realizations, and we are actualizing it. And so that's why the name twin has developed, because like I thought so. My Merly is my soul sister, and so like go ahead and be careful, just be very mindful of what's going on. So she
Well,
made it, and she's back. It's lockdown, so we have a show.
yeah.
That's our story.
I think that
So
God has put the two of you together for a reason in in this special time like this. I think
mhm,
this COVID is giving us yes, it is really, really sad, but also this pandemic is giving correction to many things that are actually wrong in the past. So,
right.
new way of life after this COVID, the pandemic, most the, the media
Hmm.
is now accessible to everyone's hand, and we hope that we can actually wish to have more people be influenced by the power of their channel, by the power of what they have, especially as YouTube
Hmm.
is. YouTube, Facebook, every page, every video that we show can really provide
Right.
something that can influence people in a
I
positive way.
have I have realized, Ree, that the COVID pandemic has rebooted the world. Every
Yeah,
one of us, like the things we take for granted, like taking care of ourselves, making our immune system strong, and exercising and all that. We realize that these are important. We have to do some self-care, some
yes,
self-respect. Self-care meaning we clean our hands, we take all those necessary vitamins, and we do self-respect, including wearing of masks so that we don't get contaminated by the disease, and we don't also expose the others unnecessarily. So all this to me are challenges on the personal level. And because we do not have yet the medicine that is going to supposedly kill the virus and make us strong against it, so we have to do our own responsibility. And so it's a learning realization for every journalist and for everyone in the community. So in fact, even if it's lockdown, I'm more busy right now because there's so much to write. And
yeah,
even if you don't go out to cover a story, you are all accessible to each other. You can just do Messenger or do some chat, Zoom, and you are already able to communicate and find out how things are. What's actually more difficult is like when you are sick and you actually you get afflicted by this sick. Um, And wait, so the hardest part of this pandemic is when a family member of yours gets sick and she or he is the one all alone at the hospital. So
Yeah.
going back to my daughter who passed away in November, I was like, oh my God, if she was still here and she was so sick already, it would have been so hard for her and for me. And
Yes.
going back again to realization that God knows everything. He is the approving officer for everything, and He knows what's best for us. Maybe that was the reason why, like, she had to be an angel ahead of time, so
Mm-hmm.
that it would not be harder for her and for me and for everyone who loves her.
Yes.
So, because the pandemic is strange, I have two aunties, Ray, who are sick with COVID. They're old and they're also compromised because they're diabetic. And I have one uncle who also had COVID. And it was so hard for us. We can only text message. We can
Yes.
only pray and see each other on Zoom. And if if not, the nurses won't answer our calls. We have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
So it's a weird kind of challenge. And so try not to be sick in this COVID pandemic times because it's hard. You don't know, you can't be hard headed. You just follow, even if at the back of your mind, you feel it's ridiculous wearing a mask. You feel weird how you wash hands every time. But just do it because hear the voices who have had that experience of taking
Yes.
care of their loved ones who were sick because it's not easy. It's so strange, and I
There.
feel bad. My two aunties had been very helpful with me when I was struggling and taking care of Nikki, and they were always there.
Uh-huh.
They tried to let me sleep and ask and buy my food and all that. I was never able to do that when it was their time to be sick. So I felt bad. So
Well,
it's a weird time. So
yes.
all of us must be considerate of each other and not, not let the stubbornness rule at this time.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time that we have to make our conscience be the guide.
Work. Yes.
And because when our conscience work, then we also care for others more.
Right,
And
right.
you have mentioned, I really enjoyed having you on this conversation, Maribir.
Thank you. And
And
same to you.
it is so refreshing and so empowering as someone like you to hear those very inspiring words as a journalist who, coming from Philippines, you came in as a political through a
Asylum.
political
Asylum.
asylum, was able to manage to create your own the media in New York,
Hmm.
and to be able to influence so many people's lives by what you write and by what you share. And I think that is all our responsibility, but we're not all available to become as talented media like you.
Oh.
But it is I'm just happy that we have someone like you, and we can learn so much from you as a journalist and as an ethnic media journalist, especially here in America. As I also wanted to mention, here in Arizona, we are the
Yes.
number one most populated in
Oh.
Asian community in throughout Arizona. That is
Uh-huh.
amazing how Filipinos are that im- we have that responsibility, and a
Yes.
huge part of the community lies within our hand. And if we can only tap that um, availability as not only as a media. Today, on my way to my friend, as you were mentioning, a friend of
Hmm.
mine is sick today, and I cooked some
Oh,
adobo,
nice.
ginasang monggo, and
Oh.
palaya.
Bless your heart.
I was
I wish
able
I
to,
could taste it.
yeah, I was
Oh,
able
I
to
saw you make the ginataang munggo on your show. Oh
And
my
yeah,
God.
yeah. And I actually on my way there, I saw so many um, what do you call this flyers of political figures running
Mhm.
for office, and we have so many people
Campaign
in
season, huh?
campaign season. But you know what? Something I am sad that in Arizona there is no Filipino political person. No, no one is
No
entering
leader.
politics yet. And I
Oh,
hope,
maybe that time will come. We
yeah,
just keep pushing. We keep training the young people to
yes,
voice out, manage events, and then they become responsible.
and I hope that through this conversation, we can continue to empower many more Filipinos to take the lead, as Ms. Merly Cristina Barlete Barlaan said, fully empowering to be so much a part of your conversation. I am so proud to be part of your journey. Yes, Merly, you are a huge part of this wonderful journey. And
Mhm.
I my hope is that Merly Cristina Barrete Barlaan would be the next UN General
Secretary
Secretary.
General.
Yes, that is my hope because
Amazing. That's not far. That's gonna happen.
this is not going. It's this is not a wish upon the stars. I am asking the moon to make it happen because Merly's work, she want to bring it to the United Nations. And
Mhm.
today, in this episode, we wanted to bring inspiring Pinoy, and you as our inspiring Pinoy journalist and as our leader here in America. We are so proud for what you have done and for what you will do more. As
Thank
I
you very much.
Yes, Merly would be the next Secretary General. And you know, last year,
Uh-huh.
Buhay America has received this award of the
Oh,
Station Advocacy and Media Awards. And
amazing. Congrats.
yes,
Great.
I believe Awesome Magazine should get one as well for 2020.
Oh, hope so.
And yes, I hope that your, in fact, the Mom Awards nomination is now on, and the deadline is in December. So I am hoping that one of these days I can invite the Undersecretary Miss Knight to be one of our guests on this show,
Uh-huh.
and I will send you the nomination form because I believe
Okay.
magazine deserve to be recognized by the Commission on Filipino Overseas for Migration and Media Awards, MAM Awards. What
Mm-hmm. I see.
you do. So Merly, I asked you to write the nomination. Merly said,
Cool, cool.
"Suntok sa buwan." UN Secretary General, ha ha ha, suntok sa buwan. Thank you for the vote. Maybe in my next life. Yes, Merly,
No.
you have 9 lives. So you are you're able to do it in this lifetime because people like you and people like our Miss Marivir Montebon are the people who will change history. And if we wait for people to do that, then what kind of history are we waiting? We are the creators of history at this time and age. So,
Yes, everybody is. We have to do what we have to do. So
yes,
to make the world better.
yes, and I really appreciate that you have Atria and twin Maribel Montebon. You have been my mentor, a strong pillar of support in my life, both personal and public. And we
Oh.
are so if you become the UN Secretary General, Merly, I'll be willing to be your secretary, and Maribir will be the promoter, or I can be the promoter. You do the secretary. You're better secretary
I'll
probably.
I'll I'll make the coffee.
You know what? It is not a joke. It is not a joke. It is something that we Filipinos have to aim high. Let's aim high. Just
Yes, we
like
have the numbers. Remember
yes,
that.
yes.
There are so
And
many Filipinos.
yes, and just like this Miss Lloyda Nicholas Lewis, why not? Why not? Why not promote us as Filipinos? This is something that I wanted to bring in my YouTube channel in Buhay Buhay sa Amerika. It's my if you're a journalist with the conscience and ethics. Mine is a passion to promote Filipinos everywhere I go. So this is my hope that one day one of us will be a UN Secretary General.
Don't
And
worry.
yes,
Merly will do it
yes,
with God's grace. And
or or a
Reed,
senator, president, even a president.
many young Filipinos right now are stepping up in terms of leadership, in terms of being responsible in their own field. So I have hope. There is so much hope in young people that we just give them inspiration and the
Yes,
opportunity to lead and be responsible. So everything will be okay.
yes,
Everything will just be fine when people do what they have to do.
yes.
That's what's always the peace in my heart always has that kind of voice.
Yes, that's very true. And we have so many leaders in our community, just like this Tenisa C, all the way from Australia. This is a woman that
Mm,
she's also from the
hello.
US, and Tenisa, she has a commanding attitude that people follow. That
Mhm,
she is in a Filipina who is based in Australia. So
mhm.
I hope that through this live stream, we can help make our Filipinos think bigger than think outside the box, and we can really create something bigger than where we come from. Philippines is, I believe, God has called us all to be missionaries and God's worker at this time and age. That's why God sent us to all corners of the world. And
Right.
with your ability, Maribir, thank you so much for
Thank
inspiring
you
us.
for having me.
For
Thank you
your
for
own,
having me. And more power to you and buhay buhay sa Amerika.
yes, and thank you so
Push lang
much.
ng push. Go
Yes,
lang ng go. Oh,
Merly
we
says,
can move. Oh, Merly says we can move the UNHQ to Montisonting. Of course. Why not? That's where the ground for development is.
so
That's the real UN.
yes, and for all of us that we can all unite together as one. This is our hope as
Mhm.
Filipinos that everywhere we go, we can work together in unity and in full force when we work together as a whole. And thank you
Yes.
so much, Maribir, for this
Thank you
wonderful.
too, Ri.
And I hope my friends in YouTube and in Facebook gain some uh, inspiration from this story, which I'm sure they gain so much inspiration from your story, Maribir. And I hope that you continue to gain the strength and the power to keep going.
Thank
And
you. Thank God.
yes, and just like Mr. Reginald Lewis, who built an empire in America, the
Mhm.
first black billionaire, uh, then one
Deal
of the
maker. Oh, I remember now. The first black billionaire deal maker.
yes, and you can be the next one.
Oh my
So,
God. I wonder what deal. Thank you so much.
and more power to you, ladies, and thank you for the refreshing conversation, sabi ni Merly. Thank you so much to all of you, and thank you, Michelle Babon, and all my friends who join us in YouTube and in Facebook. I hope that you will have a safe evening, and please be safe. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and make a face shield. And most
Yes,
importantly,
yes.
social distancing. And
Right.
thank you so much, Maribir, for
Thank
this
you.
opportunity to have you. And I look
God
forward to
bless.
seeing you in person. God bless
Hope
you.
so. God bless. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.